Mr. Granite is from another planet. Chapter 5, Goo Goo Gaga. We were just about to get on our exercise bikes the next morning when the school secretary, Miss Patty, made an announcement over the intercom. Teachers, please do not throw your teacups around the teacher's lounge. Thank you. Well, that was weird. Okay, pals, said Mr. Granite, it's time for language arts, so start pedaling. We all started pedaling, but we didn't learn anything about language arts because you'll never believe in 1,000,000 years who walked into the door at that very moment. Nobody. Because if you walked into a door, it would hurt. But you'll never believe who walked in the doorway. It was our old teacher, Mrs. Daisy. She was with her husband, Mr. Mackey, who's our reading teacher. We hadn't seen Mrs. Daisy since we graduated from second grade in June. Mrs. Daisy, we all shouted, Mrs. Daisy. Mr. Granite, what do we owe the pleasure of your company? That's grown-up talk for what are you doing here? I missed my kids, she replied. We missed you too, said Andrea, the big brown noser. Mrs. Daisy was holding something in her arms, but we couldn't see what it was because it was wrapped in a pink blanket. Did you bring us a present, I asked. Not exactly, said Mr. Mackey. It's a baby, dumbhead, shouted Andrea. Mrs. Daisy had her baby. All the girls rushed over to look, as if having a baby is a big deal. What's her name, Andrea asked. Jackie, said Mrs. Daisy. Jackie Mackey. What a lovely name, Emily said. She's beautiful. She's adorable, Andrea said. She stinks, I said, holding my nose. I think Jackie just pooped, said Mr. Mackey. We'll change your diaper in a minute. I wasn't going to go near that thing, especially after it pooped, but all the girls were coochie cooing and saying goo goo gaga to Jackie Mackey. All babies say goo goo gaga. Nobody knows why. It must be the first rule of being a baby. I think Jackie looks just like you, Mrs. Daisy, said Emily. No, said Andrea. I think Jackie looks just like you, Mr. Mackey. I think she looks just like Mr. Klutz, I said. She's as bald as a balloon. Arlo, that's mean, said Andrea. Well, it's true. All babies look alike anyway. Jackie Mackey started drooling, and then she started blowing spit bubbles, and then she put her foot in her mouth and started sucking on her toes. I thought it was pretty disgusting, but the girls thought it was cute. I know that if I started drooling in school, blowing spit bubbles and sucking on my toes, nobody would think it was cute. I probably would get kicked out of school. Wah! Jackie Mackey cried. Wah! I think she bit her own foot, I said. Jackie might be pooping some more, said Mrs. Daisy. We better go now. Babies are weird.